Hello, my friends. How is it going? Let's see here. We're in the fish room today. We're not at the laptop. How's it going? I had more work on my mouth done. They took out some front teeth. Looks pretty gnarly. Monday, they take out the other ones. And then I'll be full-blown, I don't know, Cletus. No teeth. So yeah. What's up, Jeff? How's it going? I guess I can't put your comment on the screen. But yes, I don't like paywalls. I do try to give everybody as much as I can. So Shady Grady, welcome again. I know you remember before. Yeah, so how's everybody doing? Jonas, Rayburn, Asya, Coro, Gary, hello. So I have set up a new tank since you guys saw me last. I've also had a cyanobacteria outbreak in one of my tanks. Let's turn it around. You guys can just look at my tanks. So this one's all dirty right now, and this is just to be real with you guys. I have been slacking on some of the other tanks because I've been setting up this tank down here and also getting some of my other tanks into shape, like this one up here with these rainbows. I guess I've gone a little rainbow crazy. Moonlight Aquatics locally has been importing rainbows that nobody has ever carried in our area. And then also I've got all my my betta, wild bettas set up too. And then my little swordtails. And so really I need to like get in and clean the glass, scrape a little bit of algae, or take note, like in this tank there's a little bit of algae, and it's because I switched out the light. I used to have a higher power light, and actually having a weaker, really crappy light on this tank has caused the algae to go through the roof. Whereas when I had a strong light on it, the plants were growing enough that they were over competing with the algae. Now the algae's kind of winning more, and yeah. But in this tank, it's a real hard water tank. There's one mountain minnow in it still, just because I don't have anywhere else to put him that makes sense. And there's a betta in here also. But there's these little guys, these little sword tails, and these are pygmy sword tails. And these are Xiphophorus pygmaeus, true pygmy sword tails. And you don't see these very often. Dan got these in, and I think they were 99 for 2 or something. I've seen them a lot cheaper than that before, but not wild caught or anything. These ones are, I think, 3rd generation from wild now. And they're pretty skittish. They're still pretty skittish fish, but I like to keep the Cares species, and even though they have almost no sign of a swordtail, they are technically a swordtail. And even though this is full grown, size-wise, there's 5 in there. That's all I could get my hands on. And then I think my mouth brooding bettas in here, the these are the betta malaks. They had babies, I believe, because the mouth was full. And they used to be always at the top of this little tank, and now they're hiding underneath. I'm Scottish now, guys. They're hiding underneath the tank. Let's poke and prod at them. Here we go. See, he's in a defensive mood. If I poke at the tank at all, he comes up and he tries to fight, and the female's down below. And he's showing off color really well. I wish the natural light in here was a little bit better. And then over in here, I had a cyanobacteria bloom that went this bad in 2 days. Literally 48 hours. It overtook. It had algae in it already, and I think that's what did it, is the Marimo moss ball algae. Like the same kind of algae that the moss balls are made out of was all over this tank, and it must have just like allowed the the stuff to just spread like a blanket over everything. So all I did was I tossed in a packet of erythromycin, and well, I mixed it in a little container first with water and tossed it in. But this is my Beckford pencilfish tank, and there's some peacock gudgeons in here and some little baby gobies and some unusual green lace filter feeding shrimp in here. So the cyanobacteria didn't seem to affect them, but right now it's all dying, so I'll have to do some water changes today and tomorrow. He's showing off some of his colors, but the female's down in the reeds, so to speak, protecting. So here's the show of the star of the show of what's going on new in here, and I want your guys' input on this. So I set up a lasagna substrate style tank. It's a big one in the back. It goes all the way up to 9 inches in the back, and we got a 55 without a brace, which is odd, but I'll take it. It's some odd brand, not Aquion. And so right now these plants are they're just doing their thing. So they're just floating. I took them out of other tanks, and they're just in here to give some good bacteria and good filtration, essentially, to everything else. They're all stem plants for the most part, other than a few. There's like a Logonandra eboldi in here. There's a Homlomena. This is kind of an interesting one from Papua New Guinea. That'll definitely be nestled somewhere in, the wood in here, and maybe like right in here or something. But right now I've got the white wood slime, so I should probably put some snails in here. But the thing is, I really want to keep this a Papua New Guinea and a northern Queensland tank, so like that strait in Australia. And right now the fish are not colored up at all. They're really stressed. Now I use there's a bunch on the floor. I use HTH pool filter sand. All my bags and everything from making this are still like right here on the floor. We just made it the other day. And then I jump started it with filter media up in the back of the filter from a tank that's been set up for 5 years or whatever, and put all the bio beads that came with and everything in there. But then I just popped that on, and I could have put a sponge filter on there too, the pre-filter. I could have used one of my existing ones, but I decided against it because I didn't want to introduce more algae spores or algae, starts. And so what we've got in here is we've got these guys here are Melanitania Athens Pogwai Village, and they color up really beautifully. I mean, stunningly beautifully. And then we've got 5 of them, and then we've got 5 of the Melanitania trifasciatus that are from Cato Creek. And those ones are these ones with the red and the yellow. And then these smaller ones, these are Kalitawas. So as they get older, they'll actually turn like a blackish silver on their body, a dark gray, and they'll have red tails on the males with white fins above. There's one that kind of has some orange on its tail right now. Right now, they're both a little young, and they're not used to this water. They just came into the country, I guess, this week. So they were in a fish store, and then now they're here. So they've been through 3 or 4 water batches in the last week. So now they're kind of, since they all came in the same order too, they're all kind of in quarantine together. But what I need your help with too is, see, right now they're too scared to go up top. Rainbow fish like it up top usually, and they're a little too scared because of all the floating plants. The floating plants, oddly enough, scare them into submission. But I don't want floating plants in this tank. I don't want duckweed in this tank. And I'm torn, guys. Should I do a carpet down here like I have done with hair grass in my other tanks? Like, I was thinking about carpeting the whole open sandy area. And that was one idea. The other idea is to only have plants coming out of the main rock. So if you can see the design here, it's kind of falling apart because of I had 2 pieces of wood that already had moss just all over it, and I need to trim it. And so we'll see. I'll have to trim it back quite a bit. But basically what I want it to look like is a snag. And I want like some angular rocks in the back that look like they're the bedrock. And then rounded rocks out in the flow of the river. And I'm going to have power heads running back towards the hang off the back filter. Sorry, here, let me mute my phone. I don't know who or what is making noise. That's Father Fish. So, yeah, you can see this one has some nice colors coming out all of a sudden. It's really random, but right now they're still just very stressed and getting used to their home. I mean, the bacteria is not really fully formed in the way that it should be. The filter is functioning just like it would on a stock tank elsewhere, but the water doesn't have all the little bacteria and microbes, and the substrate doesn't have, algae or anything for them to feed on, or any, nutrient, little snacks, little microorganisms. So, in any case, you can see some of them are kind of picking at the white water rot. But yeah, yet again, I'm just a little torn. Do I want to add many more rocks, like these rounded kind, just random? Or do I want to have, do I even want the angular rocks in the back? I don't know. It's all stuff I'm thinking about. If you guys have input, let me know. But I want to keep this one fairly open. Yeah, Crypt Parva is a good call. I agree. Paul McCarthy, what's up? How's it going? Sketty, what's up? Nirvana Aquatics, what's up? Cat B, hello. Cocky Nelson, what's up? Yeah, they'll get used to it and they'll color up. And the goal is what I'm eventually gonna do. I'll probably actually keep the tank, the last 5 gallons of a 55. I'm gonna keep not filled so that they don't jump as easily. Like, in theory, they could still jump, but when you've got, what, 4 inches or so, they're a lot less likely to, especially if you've got some sort of, like, I might get, like, Ludwigia, the mosaic plant, to float in a few spots, or maybe even a lily in the back, and that would kind of help prevent that. But also, they don't like direct sun all the time. But the Cali Tawas, those are a real, like, holy grail fish for a lot of people. And it'll be interesting to see when they're ready to breed. They're only discovered in 2019, I believe. They still don't have a Latin name. They're probably a Chilatharena of some sort. Just like, actually, so all the species in here are Chilatharena. And then up above, in the other rainbow tank, this is small rainbows. I've been working on this tank, cleaning out the underbrush because it was overgrown with plants. So I cleared out the plants, stopped doing so much of the immersed, and I've got all this val and other plants that I can use. But I'm trying to use plants from at least Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and Australia rather than anything from like way off course. But yeah, in here you can see we've got the sahulensis, which colored up right away, probably because they had more of their species. There's 9 of them in here, and they're kind of a new one too. They used to be called Skull Creek Moa or Moa Chilatheranas, and now they're just called Chilatheranas sahulensis, and sometimes they have a location attached to them. These ones are still from Skull Creek. But yeah, you can see that they've got nice color, nice striping, kind of orange and yellow on their fins, and at night it's kind of fun. They do a show at night. The little Aru 4s up here, these little guys, they also do a little show, but they do theirs in the morning. So they spin around and the males show off in the morning and at feeding time. And then there's Pseudomagil luminatus in here too. There's only a few Pseudomagil luminatus, and so I'm thinking about separating them out and trying to spawn them again, because I think I still have, yeah, I still got a few good sized males and a few females. And then also with the thread fins, I've never spawned this group of thread fins either, and they're definitely all grown and everything. So I might do that. There's a nice male back over there. You guys probably can't see him. He's tucked away. He's got nice stripes on his side and everything when he's all colored up. Yeah, here he comes. And these guys, of course, put on the most incredible show when you watch them go at it, because they've got that big, tall, round fin that is unlike anything else. But I've noticed that nobody will jump in this tank if there's a bunch of, like, junk floating, and so that's why this tank ended up like this. But I do wish I could see the fish a little better, and or like the scape looked a little better. There's cully loaches and things over in there. So yeah, let's see here. Add a feeding ring. That's a good idea. Evergreen Psyche, what's up? Mick, what's up? Stephen P, what's up? So yeah, you know, the little luminatus, there's a couple males in here. There's one young male over there, and then there's one male that's pretty mature up in there, and the two of them go at it all the time. They're the same age, but one just grew a lot faster. And then the thread fins, there's like 6 thread fins, 6 luminatus, and 6 Aru 4s. So this tank's pretty full right now, and they're probably all spawning and laying eggs in these little woody and you know, mossy areas, like probably all day long. One of the species is doing something. So this is not lasagna substrate here. This is just sand. And this is the one tank I have set up other than a shrimp tank. This tank is literally like I have to gravel back it if I want it to look nice. The snails, there's lots of snails, and they're doing lots of work, and that's fine and good. But yeah, I have to gravel vac it every few days, like every 4 days if I want it to look nice. Like this is what happens in a week of me not gravel vacking, is it will build up mulm back there in the wells of the plants, or also you'll see sometimes the plants will come up out of the sand because the fish have been digging in it. More likely than not, it's the coolie loaches actually scooting in between the roots and the substrate. But this tank used to have a nice piece of wood that kind of cascaded out and looked pretty cool, I thought. But now I stole that wood and it's down here now in the big old tank. So I wish I had an even bigger tank. I mean, I wish I had that top tank up there was a 20-gallon. Um, right on AK Homegrown Roots, man. Um, and in here, this one isn't going to be as natural of a tank in some ways, but in other ways, I feel like keeping it open and with less plants is more natural. That is how rainbows live in the wild. Um, but yeah, right now you can tell how stressed they are because they're hanging out at the very bottom of the tank, which is real odd behavior for a rainbow. But what I think I can do is with these little Aquiel power heads for ponds or pumps, really, is I can put these in, and you can see how much flow they produce. Not a ton, but enough. And I can put one here and one over there, and it will create a like a circular flow. And ideally, what I would love to see is them running the racetrack, you know, so that the fish could do laps around that island of stuff. Because they've got a good amount of water on either side to do that, if they will. And then there's a good amount of water on either end. But I'm thinking what's going to happen is they're going to part the tank in groups and just hang out low, if they're stressed. So it's kind of like it's got to be a happy medium between them feeling safe enough and that. But I really love these, the Melanitania affinis are just really beautiful. They got that iridescent spot on their right behind their eye, and then these guys will color up insanely. I promise you. These are the Chilatherena trifasciatus with the red. Whereas the affinis have more of a blue. This variety, and then the little guys are the Kalitawas. Yet again. And they've got, the females look really plain, especially now. The females and males, a little different. The males have red, and they will have a silver body that's dark grayish silver, like I guess they'd call like gunmetal gray or something like that, like a bluish silver. And then they'll have like a beet red tail and red face area, and then they'll have some black finnage and a black line and white tips of their fins, which the white fins are really striking in these fish when they're happy. So I've got 9 of the little Kalitawas, and we've got 5 of each other kind. So we've got 19 rainbow fish in here. And, you know, I actually got them at 3 inches, and the max size for these is 5, but in captivity 4 is far more common. So they aren't filling out quite yet in their rainbow shape, like the pointy nose with the big old head and tall body that you expect to see in mature rainbows. But they are working on it. It just takes a while. So I'll also be curious to see when they'll be able to spawn in the tank. So I'll be keeping an eye on them every morning, happily. Especially when I get that surgery on Monday. As long as it's a go still. As long as they don't put it off for any other reasons. Last time they had to put it off because tested positive for strep. I think it was strep. I didn't have strep throat, but they test you for it just to make sure that when they pull out your teeth that it doesn't go up into your sinuses or cause any problems and spread. And they said, oh, you're carrying it though. So there's that. All right, so then other than that, we've got the Beta Mahachiensis wild. Look at these guys growing out. They're looking beautiful. So we've got a bluish green. This is kind of like the turquoise body color. Then there's a dark blue one in here too somewhere. And this is a peat, just peat at the bottom here. Peat moss and actual Java moss. And then up here we've got a burgundy female with some blue on her. She's got burgundy when you see her in the right light though. And so in total there's 6 young ones in here of both genders. And I didn't know that they were going to have babies whatsoever. The parents that are in this tank had them. And let's see if we can attract them over here at all. So then we've also got the Tanictes minnows here. And this tank gets no love because it's over in the corner. But where are the bettas? I don't even see. Oh, here they come. So this one's a dark navy blue, the male. And the female is blue and burgundy. And they're just wild stock. They're not the domestic Mahachiensis like the alien betta relatives. Yeah. So I'm filming like into the sun. Like the window's right here. And he's still that blue. When you catch him in the sunlight. Oh no, this is the female. I'm sorry guys. This is the female with the red and the blue. So you'll see the red on the tail. But they were mouth brooders. They're the parents of these ones. And there's 6 in here that survived in this tank. And so nothing would surprise me about them doing that again other than these Tanictes, white cloud minnows. These are the newest species from Vietnam that they discovered. Nothing would surprise me about it if they spawned again. And also here's a really wild looking one, a female. So the females and males in bettas are really obvious at certain points in their growth cycle. And I think it's kind of interesting because then for a while you can't tell very easily, or as easily I should say, and then it gets easier again. So then over here, the snails that I'm going to include into that tank down there, the new Papua tank, are going to be these blueberry snails, but they're on cleaning duty right now is what they're serving just a literal utilitarian purpose of you guys are on cleaning duty in the shrimp tank and in the... So this tank is the filterless, heaterless, and it's not deep substrate either. So this was one of my proving the points that the aqua soil can do the anoxic filtration. Even in shallow layers, it can. I mean, look how good this tank is doing. It's just producing a ton of shrimp. These guys eat hydra and planaria, and like that is what keeps them happy, these guys. And that's why I put them in here, was because planaria kept appearing and they would kill my shrimp, my baby shrimp, and it was annoying me. So I got these blue Sundadanios and put them in there. Other than that, that plant with no root tabs or anything, it kind of surprises me, is growing really well. The Crypspiralis is like outgrown its stay. So it's probably going to get moved down into the rainbow tank too. Because it's another crypt that is from that region. Now over here, I don't think I've shown anybody this tank in a while, but we've got our ricefish, and we've got 2 random guppies, and we've got a big old giant betta. So this gal sent me some giant bettas that she couldn't care for and had to move. And I said I'd take them on, and so there's one of them in each tank in a couple different tanks. And then there's also, are they around, or are they on the other end? This is the 20 long, but there's also 6 Cory bandit Corys in here. And then there's the as you can see, the Medacas. So the Medacas hopefully can go outside soon. Like, they probably could go outside now, but hopefully soon they'll flourish. Here's some Lame Medacas, Platinum Lame. Let me see if I can get that to show off. Not really, it's not showing up very well, but they're sparkly platinum white, like they're pearl scale kind of. So yeah, there's those, and then they kind of hang out in the dark all day, unfortunately. I need to get another light for them. They just get the secondary light, and then they get the natural sunlight throughout the day too. Boy, these guys are glowing right now. They're coloring up to say, let's get jiggy with it. And then this tank, again, I have another tank, go figure, that is just out of control with growth of plants. I need to like farm out this Sawasser tank. This is the tropical form that Crystal Castleman discovered. Also, my Potamogeton gayi is just out of control and beautiful. It's bronze and red and green and lime green and dark green and all these different colors with gold down the center and bronze down the center. I've never grown so much of it as in this tank. I don't know what it likes so much about this tank. But this is an old lasagna setup that's going on probably 8 years, 7 years. And this is what it looks like when it grows in really low light. It actually grows kind of cool, like out every side alternating, like boom, 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 and stays kind of like a feather, angular, whereas here you can see they get long enough and wide enough that the leaves fold back on themselves. So yeah, I don't know. I'm debating what to do with all this. This lily has been out of control forever. But in here, I'm not seeing them as much, and that's my definite cue that, like, okay, your plants are taking over way too fast. Lately, I've been feeding just a really, like, I kind of calculated out for that video my estimation when talking to professors and to ichthyologist friends of, like, how much does a fish actually metabolize when it swallows something vitamin-wise? And how much does a shrimp or a snail? And so basically 20 to 30% is going to be left over as food in the water column. And I've been fertilizing these tanks with that method where I feed them a specific balanced diet, and I kind of don't care what the fish think of the food. It's frozen food, live food, Daphnia, and then this, they get every week, this has to get worked into anything 20 gallons or more. And that combo right there, I worked out, is like 5 times more than would be needed to give the nutrients to the plants in here. And so now the plants are growing way too fast. They're overgrowing everything, and so they were all kind of homeostasis. These hey, does he have ick or something on his head? Looks like he does. Wait, but there's nothing new in here. That's odd. No one has been added to this tank in 3 months? That's very odd. Well, we're going to turn up the heat then. Turning up the heat. Turning up the heat. Turn it up, up, up. Yep, there comes on the red light. We're going up to, what, 80? 86, guys. We're going up to 86. I saw one dot on one fish. It was at 80, so it's not a crazy jump, but it is a bit of a jump. But the gouramis should handle it, the checkerboard cichlids should handle it, and also both types of hyphosobricons should handle it. Now I do have orange laser cories in here, and this is another one. This is my darker Sawasser tang. This is the dark, and this is what it looks like in a brighter tank. But I've also got like jet black Sawasser tang, and it grows in like over in this tank where it's real dark over there. So, but anyways, everybody's hiding all day, and so I need to do something with these plants, get these plants out of here. Even like all my breeding tanks and shrimp tanks, the plants are just at the brim and just taking over. Also, the last, I guess, tank up here, you can see how well the scud tank is doing right now. These rainbowfish will have scuds for every meal if they want them. So hopefully they'll like them. Also, my seed shrimp and paramecium tank, you can see the fogginess in the water. And then here, this is a different type of smaller scud, and also there are cyclops in here living down in this mess. You can see them. And in here, we've got, where is he? It looks like a big old mess, but it's actually a 4.0 pH. And that's why it's gotten to the point where the plants are starting to die now. Here he is. Is he okay? Oh, yeah, he's fine. Whoa, he just took off into the duff. So, yeah. Anyhow, that's what's going on around the fish room right now. We've also got this tank, which I got a D-snail. I need to get some assassin snails or something, because something clicked in these snails and they started eating the mulm again, which is odd. They were only eating flake food, and then they started having babies like gangbusters. And what I think it is, which is kind of interesting news for like ecology in our tanks, is this tank here has like no fish in it hardly. It's got a gourami and a betta, a giant betta in it that's growing out. And it's starting to grow that annoying moss that's like half moss, half algae, physidins. It looks great when you want it. It doesn't look so great when you don't want it. And also, you can see here there's black beard growing in this tank. And it's just these little puffballs now, but I'm real nervous that it's going to take over and bloom really bad soon if I don't, do something different, add some higher light, because I stole the light off of this tank. Now, what I was trying to show you here, oh, here we go. So, there are shrimp in here. They're hard to see. They're Malawa shrimp, my wild Malawa line. And something has happened in a lot of my Malawa tanks where they've crashed. There's the giant betta baby. I mean, it's a giant betta that is baby aged. But this, I was also curious, how long could I keep a carpet going in low light? Because this is like the crappiest light you can get. This is a current $29 for the light that goes over a 3-foot tank. But what I put in here was the shrimp. And the shrimp are all over in here breaking down waste. And they seem to be doing fine and happy. And they're doing their part. But what it seems to be doing is allowing the snails to access the nutrients. So I don't know if the shrimp break something down that the snails just can't get at normally. Yeah, here's more of the shrimp down here in a group together. That's a cull from my blue line. But anyways, so I need to figure that out. Maybe get some assassin snails. Maybe just pull them out and give them to a friend with a puffer or something. Or I could just fill this with pea puffers. I mean, that's always an option. But I took out all of the other stuff. And when I made that video on nutrients and stuff, I've kind of been playing with different things. And that's how I was kind of making that little tray I showed you for the diet of how to feed for your plants. And I figured out that this, being very, very conservative, would be plenty, like way, way more than enough. If you could get this fed in a week to a 20-gallon or a 40-gallon, whatever size fish you have, when I balanced out those 5 different foods, they had the nutrient profile 5 times of what the plants would need in a given week. And I'm not doing water changes either, so it may be double. And I think I might be going onto the side of too much nutrients because I wasn't feeding them that much nutrients before. I wasn't actively, consciously thinking about it. And I've been doing that with this tank too. And this tank has just grown bonkers out of control, as it always does. But there's no angelfish or anything big in here anymore. It's just the giant betta, I think, is the biggest thing. And then the headstanders. So these are all fish that actually enjoy being back in the reeds and back in the jungle tank. And likewise, you guys saw this tank a week ago, and it's overgrown to the point of being a problem again. It's the panda loach tank and the beautiful red-tailed hillstream loach and the X-ray catfish from these ones are from Papua New Guinea. I had done a video with some from Borneo, but I actually like these ones more. They're really similar. And then the gold ring danios and the guppies that are all blonde, no albino gene. They're just the blonde gene with some blue iridophores. They're doing their thing, but there's a whole bunch back there. So they've been doing well. There's also a whole bunch of Mekong Delta ricefish in here, and I thought they'd be getting like a good size, but they're not. They're not growing above like half an inch. And online, their size said that they got to an inch, but they're a really new species. They don't have a Latin name yet. They're just naming them because they're from the Mekong Delta. And here you go, right there. There's one right there. And they've got this beautiful turquoise metallic shimmer to them right there. So I think they will undoubtedly be part of the hobby soon. More so. I got these dirt cheap, like $3.99 a piece or something. So that was kind of a score. And then same with these tetras. I got those at Moonlight. And those are the Hyphosobercon melastronachos. It looks like pistachios with an M. Melastronachos. Imperial lapis tetras is also what they're being called. But these guys at night, oh my gosh, are they beautiful. When they come out, I was so glad I got 15 of them. And when they've got some room to play, like you see oranges in their tail, you see blues and purples and every color you can imagine, like mother of pearl on their body shows up, and their tail turns fire red on the males. See that one down there, that where you can really see the orange on the tail there. So I'll have to get some better pictures, because as these guys have matured and or just settled in and eaten a better diet, they've been doing a lot better looking. And in the day, they're kind of like just a little boring, I guess, like this. But at night, boy, do they come out and start showing off. So that's kind of cool. But I just trimmed all the Ludwigias out of here that are from southeastern or from Southeast Asia, Papua New Guinea. Got all the crypts and things that I wanted to borrow out of here. Here's the giant betta. This one is pretty big right now. It's probably pushing 3.5 inches. And I stole some of the Loganandra and stuff like that. But the back is still a mess. There's still the purple bamboo and the Ludwigia palustris and Potamogeton no. What is it? This guy is so friendly. He's such a little character. He's like I'll be working in the tank and he'll come and he'll want to be cupped in my hand. Like if my hand's half curled, like trying to pull something up or grab a plant or a tool, he'll go right in it. And I'm like, you're going to get smushed, buddy. But apparently he's going to reach about 6 inches. So I'm excited to see if that's true. But yeah, so the tanks are overgrown. there's some oddball rare plants and stuff, and oddball rare fish in a little bit of everything, I guess. But yeah, I need to get back onto like some breeding tanks that are just plain Jane, and also just the snails in all the tanks. I think it's the change in the diet. There's just too much food for them. So yeah, and this, I mean, this substrate tank, this stuff it's producing mulm like a 1/4 inch a week right now, or not a week, a month right now, and adding to the depth of the tank. Like I measure it over time, and man, it's just making the front deeper and deeper, whereas the back is actually slow growing in the shade. And this is actually one bulbitis plant, hedulata, and also an anubias. That there's a couple hybrid anubias species in here, and they're in this tank, and they've grown literally to the tank. So it's like if I remove it, I have to remove the entire thing as a kind of an lowercase n, or I guess a C shaped thing, because it's now one chunk to pull out if I want to. Yeah, I have not fertilized this tank whatsoever, no CO2 whatsoever. And that feeding method that I've been playing with, I think it needs some adjustments, lowering it. And I wanted to just kind of pump it up on steroids and see if it would work. And look, this is 2 weeks, guys. I had cut this down to this height here so that it was only about 4 inches. This thing is now, I mean, the tank is 28 inches tall, so it's like 32 inches in 2 weeks. It's growing a couple inches a day, that kabamba there. So, and then the kabamba furcata is even growing at that rate, not just the American kind. So it's kind of wild. And the Ludwigia, and then also the pennywort is flowering. So if I wanted to cross that, which I've been thinking that perhaps I would cross this or this, the underwater. They're calling it pinto or albino hydrocaudal, not verticillata, but hydrocaudal tripartita. And I've been thinking I could try to flower it and cross it with the hydrocaudal verticillata, which has just gotten nuts. But I don't know if I want to deal with all that. I got to do the obviously the mouth surgery, and then just the channel and videos and stuff. And I'm feeling like, okay, what have I gotten in over my head, I guess is the question I'm asking myself a lot lately, with how fast everything's growing. All right, guys, I need to look at the chat a little better. But hello again. Let me hop down to the bottom so we're all caught up. Yeah, it might be stress ick too. That's a good point. I haven't seen a giant betta make it past 3 or 4. They don't seem to live very long. 3 or 4 inches. Yeah, I know. That is a trouble. When you make a fish larger like that, it's a problem. Now, this one actually has betta splendens crossed in vitro, which is interesting, with the betta gigantus or gigante, and they're not in the same genus. They're not in that splendens clade. So a fish farm took the embryo and in vitro just spliced the male sperm into it. Guys, I'm gonna have some coffee. But yeah, it's kind of wild to see that. And the other way they were doing it was just selectively breeding the splendens. But the new one is, yeah, the new one's a little different. The newest line. All the other giant bettas I have are not like that. They're actually just selected betta splendens that have been, since about 99, they've been trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger ones. Basically, they were using lines from captivity that old lines that they found in mountain villages and things like that. Something gross was in that coffee. I don't know what, but we're going to pour slower this time. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I'm not usually a big coffee person, but lately with the chronic fatigue thing going on, I have to say, when you don't drink coffee all the time and suddenly you need a picker-upper, coffee worked pretty good. Coffee worked pretty good. Yeah, they've crossed Danios in vitro. They've crossed Medaka. They've crossed guppies, actually, with other live bears. Yeah, interesting. And in Singapore, they're going to be doing a whole lot more of that, and even crazier stuff. They're getting into using what do you call it? CRISPR. And CRISPR is kind of creepy. I mean, it's amazing technology, but they're literally editing the genes a letter at a time, you know, the Gattaca. New friends, coffee doesn't work for you, huh? Coffee slossers. Nirvana Aquatics, I'm a little confused by it too. But from what I understand, CRISPR is similar to RNA. So you got your DNA, and when it has an error, your RNA oftentimes corrects it, and it's basically like G can only go with A, or I forget which ones go with which, honestly. But like T can only go with C. And so it knows that if you have a T, it's going to be a C. If you have a C, it's going to be a T. And something about it, what it does is it allows you to change, it allows you to assign any one of those four to the next code of DNA. So it takes the copy, cut, paste enzymes or proteins, and it tricks them into thinking that you can use anyone you want. And so then it will lay down the opposite in the real DNA, not just in the RNA or in, you know, some synthetic DNA mix that you had to make tediously. You can actually cut and bisect whole pieces, whole segments. I look so bad right now with my teeth. They took out and they got gauze packed up in there. They took out two of the biggest ones that they were worried about up in the sinus, and went really smoothly, actually. They were able to break the tooth in half and then pull out each little sliver that they broke, and I was just nice and loopy. But yeah. Yes, Jack, fish keeping is definitely very, very addictive. Yeah, you know, teeth are rough. All right, now I gotta ruin this coffee, but as my wife says, and I put about a quarter of the cup is gonna be cream now. Better not be ordering fish. Yeah, my wife left me, and she's over at Mussel Fest, and I'm allergic to shellfish. Because why wouldn't I be? Everything that can go wrong with my body goes wrong with my body. I used to work at a restaurant where I handled lobster and steak, you know, steak and lobster, and every summer we do Lobster Fest. And when I was like 19, I ate all the free lobster I could handle because they'd always have extra, or they'd have it going all the time so they didn't have to wait for someone to order it. And they'd put it up on the line, and then at the end of the night, they'd have like, I don't know, 10 extra lobsters just waiting, steak and lobsters. And so all the employees would eat them, especially us broke, you know, people who were working like mid-shift essentially. Wait, I just touched my betta and then put my finger in my coffee to check the temperature. That's kind of gross. Well, here's to hoping that that betta has no communicable diseases that I'm going to get. The man who gets every disease and becomes the last man standing. You know, what's crazy is I haven't had COVID, and I'm gonna knock on some wood like instantly because, but I have been everywhere. My wife had COVID twice, and I was stayed with her, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get it, and that just sucks, and so tough luck. And we were in Ohio, and I stayed with her in this little tiny place, and I shared drinks with her that morning that she tested positive even, and it never got me. And then it happened again. So whatever kind she gets, I clearly don't get. Um, yeah. Well, you can kiss your cats. I think that's pretty safe. I think it's when you transcend the water air boundary that you start causing superbugs, like the next COVID or whatever. Oh, and I've been notified. I know exactly what that is so frustrating. I've been notified that this video will now not be monetized because I said that word twice. Well, I've already said it now, COVID. Um, the YouTube is getting so bad with their censoring. I mean, I run a freaking fish channel. If I want to say this is how you sex a guppy, it wants to tell me that I'm being inappropriate. Or if I say this is a pygmy crayfish or pygmaeus, it's getting out of hand. Obviously a lot of people have been saying that for a long time. But when like you really, I don't run some channel that's doing anything scandalous, really. Well, I mean, I'm pretty scandalous, um, but yeah. Uh, yeah, if you say dwarf or pygmy, they think that pygmy is a derogatory term. The pygmy people in Africa, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, they want to be referred to as that. Um, oh man, this is just not good. I put cream in it, and it proceeded to curdle. We're gonna have to heat it up a lot more, which will probably curdle it more. But now we'll have cheese and coffee. Sketty, same. My immune system is similar to yours. I get everything except I haven't had COVID either. Yeah, I haven't had a few really bad sicknesses that like everyone got. And like if I get cut, I heal extremely fast. Like I had a bad cut under my eye. Well, it wasn't a cut, it was a shingles outbreak. Like 4 days ago. And it was just like it was gross. And with my wife, that would leave like a gnarly scar forever. And with me, I can get a chunk all the way to my bone out of my skin and it doesn't scar. My shins and my arms, I've had bad injuries and they just don't scar. So call me lucky, call me a freak. I don't know. The overactive autoimmune system has it's come in handy for me a couple times. I don't put any sugar actually in my no sugar tonight in my coffee. Just lots of beta cream coat. Beta cream coat. I didn't mean to say that, but that is disgusting. Hold on. Guys, stick with me. I'm just walking out to the recycle. It's going to bug me because the curdled milk smells real bad. One of those things where I desire the effects of the caffeine more than the terrible smell of curdled milk. It's also half and half. So when it curdles, it's like boom, nose, the opposite of nose candy. Wait, that's not the right word either. I'm really not pulling the right words out of thin air today. I'm really struggling with the correct verbiage. But I do really look like Cletus, the slack jaw yokel today. Black is way better for you coffee wise, I'm sure. But I love me some dairy. You know, so many times they've put me on diets for 6 months or a year where they're like, no, you can't have any whatever carbs, or you can't have soy, or you can't have gluten. I've tried over the last 20 years, I've tried so many things. And oh, I made you some coffee too. Yeah. Have some. It's got beta scales in it. It's beautiful. But yeah, seriously, my fish eat way better than me. Coffee after 12. Yeah, it's 3 o'clock. You know, I stayed up all night last night too. So, yeah. It's been sleeting all day. It isn't sticking. And it's just cold, wet, and windy. It's just kind of miserable. But yeah, guys, I'm kind of running out of things to say today. Yeah, and it's windy too today. It's wet, windy, and miserable. It's like 37 degrees today. It is annoying. If I lived near the Mayo Clinic, I would definitely check it out. UW, University of Washington, it is a pretty good place, especially for autoimmune stuff. But they've just kind of called it lupus because it's so similar, but it's not really lupus. I just say that because it's so hard to explain. Well, I have 7 out of the 9 major lupus check boxes marked. But one of my genetic markers is not what they would expect to see, and one of my inflammation markers is not what they'd expect to see. Yeah, the light by the window over there is very nice. It's that gray light. I think it makes my eyes look gooder. I think it makes the eyes look gooder. Let's see. Let's try that one more time. Because if you have blue eyes or gray eyes like me, what it is it's not that it's blue. It's just like the sky. It's like clearish. And you still have particles in your retina that scatter light just like the sky does. Whereas if it's completely clear and not just mostly clear, you end up with red eyes like albino folks. But yeah, I used to have like bright blue eyes. They looked very, very blue in all light. And then around 20 years old, they just turned kind of this weird grayish slate color. I don't know. Same with all my facial hair. It's like, is it red? Is it brown? Is it burgundy? Is it white and gray? It's everything. What a freak. What a German, Scottish, Irishman, Dutchman, and Native American man. Very, very minorly Native American. Jewish is what I should have said first. Apparently, I'm 30% Jewish. Well, I'm 50% Scottish, so I guess that's that. But somehow I ended up 30% Jewish because my Scottish ancestry had Semitic ancestry, and so did my German on my other side of the family. All right, guys, I'm gonna end this soon, but we're gonna end it on the note of let me know after the fact. Turn around, phone. There we go. We're gonna end it after we take a look at the RU4s. Look at them, they're so cute. They're white fins. White fins are unusual on fish. Look at that, pumping his white fins. The females are so boring in that species. And then we've got all the beautiful sahulensis, Melanotania sahulensis. I think someone needs to split the Melanotania genus up. The Chilatherena and the Melanotania are way too big. Both those genuses, I feel like the diversity you see in those genuses is bonkers. Oh, and then the threadfin, the male's out with his stripes. Can you guys see those stripes at all? That's how you know they're fully mature in males. Like, they're the bull male, they're the alpha male, whatever you want to call it. They're the king. Is when they start coloring up in the afternoon and they've got slight stripes going horizontal or vertically on their side. Whereas the other male down there does not have that. He's got more green color. And then we'll end it here. Oh, see if these guys have colored up anymore while I left them alone. Yeah, they kind of did. So, yeah, there we've got the Aphanis, the Chilatherena and Aphanis. Then the blue one, Pagua Creek, and that is the Trifasciatus. And then here, these littler guys, which there's 9 of, there's one that's colored up best, with the red tails, those are going to be Kalitawas. And, yeah, there we go. Here he comes. And I can't wait until those grow into their own, honestly. Those ones will be really cool. They'll all be really pretty. Right now, they're so washed out. They're stressed. They're not happy that they're in a white light. I should set the lighting a little bit redder for them also. And they were on black sand in a black tinted tank for the last week or so, or 5 days. And now they're in a bright white sandy and crushed coral tank. But this is the Papua 55. Got this weird 55 with no brace on it. And yeah, so we'll see. We'll figure out what we're going to put in here. I've got some plants right now. I'm thinking of doing maybe a plant bundle in that corner and along the back a little ways of stem plants, and doing the same over there to there, and then doing just like Homlomena and like Anubias looking plants, and or carpeting or vining plants on the wood, and then in between any rocks and wood, putting crypts of various kinds in there. That's what I'm like leaning towards, with maybe some little tufts of grass here and there and a few more rocks. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. And the other thing, it will be a jungle in no time, unfortunately. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't turn this one into a jungle tank too. This needs to be the George Farmer. Actually, you know what? I made this scape in, what? I don't know, 18 minutes or something. I literally, like, took the sticks out of another tank, and on those two, that was one I had waiting, and I just threw them in. I had the rocks in a pile, and then these rocks are in other tanks. And I was like, well, that's that. I'd never done the island aquascape, really. It always seems so easy to me. And I'm not saying mine looks like George Farmer's at all. But I will say it's pretty easy to make it look okay. And that's going to be the layout I'm going to recommend to folks. Hey, Super Chat. I almost missed it. Thank you so much, buddy. Jack, it's good to see you. I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks, man. I will buy some coffee during my... No, I will do something with that money. I don't know when I'm going to stream again, guys, for sure. I do have the video of me, basically, creating all this. and the layers and stuff like that. The the uh, the lasagna method, if you will. And maybe I'll put that together into one video. I don't know. I was kind of thinking of doing like a third installment of the layered substrate and like show it actually being done in real time. Not real time, but like in time lapse. But my butt is in the way a lot of the time, or my back rather. Like my back and my leg are like leaning over, working on this tank a lot. Anyways, check back in, and I'm also going to do, I think I'll probably end up doing some species spotlights and profiles on these fish, because I have a whole bunch of Chilatharina now, and Melanitania and Chilatharina rainbowfish, I mean, there's just so many of them, and they're very different. I don't know, I haven't ever really kept rainbows, and so, other than just about all the pseudomagills that they know of. And so, yeah. Also, like Rhamnocentris I've kept, but these sahulensis, this is the size they get. So they're a great aquarium fish. I don't know why they're not more popular, honestly. They're really pretty. And they're really fun. They dance for the females. They spin around the females. The males compete with their finnage. It's real cute. Keep your dorsal fins up. Thanks, Durf son. I appreciate that, buddy. I could add some of this to my... Oh my goodness, look at all the shedded layers. Talk about layered substrate. That is dead or shed scuds from up on the glass. They're all over the glass. And all over every surface in here. But they've also coated the ground to the point where there's more exoskeletons than substrate in that tank. That is gnarly. And here you can see the planaria and the paramecium, I mean, are so thick that it's a cloud. Look at that. So I need some babies to feed. The adults don't want to eat that. They'll eat the scuds, but they don't want to eat the paramecium. So I guess I need to hatch out some babies. These guys will probably eat it. I can probably feed them some of it. But maybe it's time to buy a couple new nano fish. How dare I say that? My wife would be... Well, she's probably going to be upset that I bought those rainbow fish. But... Because I don't really... What fell in that aquarium? Oh. Oh, dear. Hold on, guys. One sec. That's not good. I dropped a bottle of methylene blue. And the fun part about that is not that I'm so worried what it's going to do. It's that I don't know how to get it out. Oh, grab by the cap. There we go. Whew. Alex, you need to get your life organized. Now you have blue stains that are never going to come off on both hands. So I need to think, guys, though. Help me with this. And, oh, Alaska Homegrown Roots. Thanks, man. Thank you. Your tanks look great because... Oh, your tanks look great. I was going to say, my tanks don't look great right now. I got like one tank that looks okay. Jeff, can you take a break so I can catch up? Thanks for being a member forever, buddy. Coro. I know it's been more than 21 months, man. I know it's been more. I know it. Anyways, I hope y'all have a wonderful night, and wish me well on the next set of surgery. Hopefully I'll be back with no teeth for the next 4 or 5 months, and then I'll have some pearly whites. But if I could ask you in the comments after the video loads or whatnot, if you would tell me what catfish from Papua New Guinea or northern Queensland, Australia, or the Aru Islands, which one, like which catfish or cleanup crew or coolie loaches, you know, something like that for the bottom of the tank, which one would you pick? Yeah, the methylene blue tipped. It's going to be all over my hands. Mm. That just keeps cooling down really bad. And it tastes like, I'm not kidding, it tastes like fish. That's disconcerting. It tastes kind of vegetative because I think I was handling a lot of plants. Whatever. They'll probably give me enough antibiotics. Oh, those anchor catfish are cool. They're from India. I wonder how far into Indonesia and Malaysia they go. They might go all the way there. Oh, so use blue methylene to get rid of it. Just rub with iron wool, is that what you said, until the blue comes off my skin? That's what I heard. I heard drink a lot of coffee and then get some iron wool. Oh, ew, that was curdled creamer. It's not like I'm drinking some disgusting coffee, but I am at the same time. Mmm. Peacock eel. That is something I thought about too. It might get a little big. They have really tiny mouths. So I did think about getting a red-tailed peacock eel. But yeah, let me know what you guys think or what other critters you think I should put in there. Kind of a bummer that there's no Corydoras in, Southeast Asia, no equivalent. Glass cats are pretty cool. There are some on Papua New Guinea, and there are some in Borneo and Indonesia. They're all different. They're different split. One's a Melanesian and one's a Southeast Asian continental species. But they look really similar. One just has a bigger head and wider depth of its chest. Okay, guys, I'm gonna drink this coffee and cool down outside. And just, I hope you all have a wonderful night. Thanks for coming and hanging out. And, I appreciate all your support and well wishes. Hitting the like button, coming by and watching the videos that I put up. Man, I'm just gonna stop. I just can't say anything right word-wise. I got mumble mouth. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Happy fish keeping, and I'll see you next time. That didn't end the stream. That just zoomed in on my face.